Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
This show's audio was via a Skype call.
Do you want to learn how to be you in today's world? Do you know what it means to fulfill your soul script? Well, look no further, because New Soul Radio with Ruby Bedi on Transformation Talk Radio starts now. Follow host Ruby Bedi as she explores original, powerful, and revolutionary concepts that will ignite an infinite fire within each of you. This hit show provides profound wisdom alongside radically simple techniques that collapse time, allowing instantaneous personal transformation. Awaken your potential and master your destiny on New Soul Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to New Soul Radio. I am Dr. Pat, and I am joined by my co-host today. You heard a brief introduction of Ruby Bedi. Now listen to this. Today, we're going to be talking about what it means to be in that place. The first declaration, how to adapt to the new speed of time. And Ruby is going to take us on a journey about each of the declarations, what they are, and how they bring us to this new place. Today, for all of you, whether you're listening or you're watching on Facebook Live, we're going to look at what happens with the new speed of time, what happens to our health, what happens to our wealth, what happens to our relationships, and then what is the new soul mind, and what is the new connection between the new soul mind and the speed of time. Today, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce you to someone who has dedicated her life to a new level of thought, a new level of consciousness, a new level of helping us tap into that infinite, intuitive wisdom that each and every one of us has. And this is one of several shows in a series we're doing together. Whether you know her as a clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, she is up in the, what I like to call, up in the space of Mind Lab. She's up in the space of integrated energy. She's up in the space where we all come together with the awareness and a self-realization. Because today, in today's world, we need to integrate our work, our play, our lives, our minds, and our spirit. Ruby, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk with you about this, about the idea of New Soul, but also to go through the declarations. Great to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Pat. I'm so happy to be here with you. And I'm talking to you from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India, which is thousands of miles away. And it is 11:30 p.m. here. So wow. It's kind of fun and different. It's fun. Yes. Yeah. I am really excited, Pat. We both have discussed this, and we all have felt this rush in time. Our relationship to time has changed, and everyone on the planet is experiencing this rushness. So it's almost like things are happening too fast. The mind is working too fast. Manifestation is fast. Good is happening fast. Bad is happening fast. Like ideas are happening really fast. So we are actually changing our ideas, changing our goals, changing our intentions very fast. A lot of people don't really understand why this is happening to them, because I'll also tell you this is the highest time of chaos in the world. And it's worldwide. It's not coming to India, thousands of miles away. It's more obvious than I ever thought. So it is, you take depression, you take divorce, you take dementia, it's no longer just stress. We are actually experiencing anxiety and palpitation.
Yeah.
So the body has become nervous. These are all signs that the time, the speed, our relationship to time and speed have changed. So we are going to, at some level, 2018, have to align ourselves, recalibrate our energy system, develop possibly even a new brilliant system. Because also this is the age of enlightenment. Chaos doesn't come without its gifts. Chaos is simply a sign of breakdown, and that means breakthroughs. So the age of enlightenment, how do we, 2018, align our system, our thoughts, our values, our beliefs, and our energy system for optimum performance? Because everybody, what do we all need, Pat? We all want to create the best way possible.
Yeah, I love what we're talking about here, Ruby. And let me tell you why. You're going to take us on a journey about this. I love what we're talking about because I want to go back to something you said a few seconds ago, and that is speed of time, right? Both in manifesting good and manifesting not so good. And so we think sometimes we are helpless in the scheme of things. Today, you're going to take us on a journey on how we're not helpless, how we're not victims, and how to optimize this new speed of time.
Yes. And the first key to that is that we have to become really agile and flexible and alert to the situation, present not just in the moment, but to the situation. So our life will actually unfold situation to situation. Now, when we talk about belief systems, they were kind of in commandments in black and white, and we couldn't move away. Sometimes our egoic mind, we got stuck in that. We didn't want to change the value system, the belief patterns. Those mindsets are not going to work because you can't have a cemented, like a mindset, boxed mindset. So we need actually flexibility, a floating consciousness, floating mind, flexibility. So we look at situations, then we make the best of it. Now, in these times, to rely 100% on outside, like dependency on your spouses, on relationships, there's no surety, there's no safety. We've lost that safety net. So our safety net is coming from basically being located in our own consciousness, in our own breath, and just being present and acting the best way possible every situation. So which means we could actually change our belief systems as to per the situation. Now that's pretty exciting and radical.
It's very exciting and it's very radical, and you're bringing this to the forefront. Let's start with a topic that, for me, I never thought would be on my top list to talk about, and that's health. I talked the other day about the rise in chronic disease, right? Yes. And I made a statement. And let's just talk about this in the USA, for example. In this country, we have close to 43 million people that have at least one chronic disease.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Right? So, when we think about that, we're thinking about, how? How come?
Yes.
And you've made a connection to health and the impact of speed of time on health.
Yes, absolutely. Imagine a body, a mind that is in rush. What is happening to the body? There's nervousness. You're never settled in your body. So your trillions of cells are vibrating, but not working with you, or you're not working with them. There's no alignment. Now in that, there's restlessness. Now what happens when there's restlessness? You can't access deep intuition. You can't access with the cool mind the wisdom. You can't access your soul mind, your deeper guidance, higher guidance. So we make decisions in reactions and very rash, right? Now, when we have, in terms of health, how do we get healthy? We can't prevent disease. We cannot prevent death. But we can be at peace no matter what the disease is. So you can have a chronic condition and body could still be at peace. Because if it's not at peace, it's working against you. Your body is your enemy now. You're not a friend to the body. So whatever you put in, whether it's treatments, whether it's hypnosis, whether it is food, supplements, millions of dollars on supplements, we know how it's going. They don't take effect. They don't take a healthy root in your system. So we're going to have a still body, a still consciousness. So even though we are troubled in the mind, we can still actually be peaceful. And that possibility exists now. We don't have to look for it. We don't need deep meditations, long meditations. There's fast, radical techniques now, Pat, for these radical times. And we can actually set our pace and be rested in the body so we can access the wisdom of the body. So the body starts to heal itself. So our mind consciousness, all the energy from the mind is not being drained now due to stress, adversity, contradiction, everything else. So even our state of health, our relationship to health has shifted. A lot of people actually have some form of sickness or dis-ease, but that doesn't stop them from performing the best way possible. That doesn't stop you from living life, really, at whatever level you can. So this is the new techniques for the new world, new times, that we can instantly learn those techniques where we come into some form of steadiness and some stability and quietness in the body. Now the body starts to heal itself. And when the body intuition gets higher, it will pull the right doctor, it'll attract the right medicine, it will just attract the right choices. So being, one may say, right time, good luck, all of that phenomena come into play. Yeah. So health is so important right now. Okay, go ahead. You were asking me something.
Well, what I love about this is, you work with people, Ruby, all over the world, and you have been able to cultivate very specific techniques that are different for each person. And so there are some remedies. Let's just talk about some very specific things for people, because I don't want to really blow by what you just said. We're going to talk about it also in the show. But one of these ideas is when you quiet the mind, even for 10 seconds, we allow for the creative, intuitive possibilities to come in. And so rather than ask, how can I solve this problem? We allow the space for what else is possible. And boom, we get an answer.
Yes, right now.
We're too afraid to take action sometimes, right?
Yes. So at some level, we are going to have to plug the drains with our new thinking, with our new patterns and new systems. We need a lot of energy because a lot faster, a lot more agile, a lot quick. So you need the energy. You need a great energy force in these times. If you lack energy, you're going to start to abort your ideas and intentions and goals. Soon and have you noticed, Pat, how many people are allergic to so many things also? How many people are allergic, and it stops them from performing, going or living life in a lot of ways. And we know from the West, people are cutting down on foods. With the result, they're able to only absorb very little food. So this is a body signal that look at me, look at the body in another way. So body is the best friend. It is the vehicle. It is basically your home of consciousness. And in that, so rest is most essential. Pat, I'm going to share a very, very radical and a fast technique. And it's absolute wisdom. Now, body has a mechanism where, body has a mechanism, self-built-in mechanism, that actually will keep you in rest 24/7 throughout your life. Now, when we inhale, and if you open your eyes and you inhale, at that time, you're able to absorb all the senses, the feelings, the intuition. If you open your eyes, you can experience everything. You can feel everything. But now when you focus on exhale, so closed eyes, focus on exhale, you've entered the no mind space. So the body has this brilliant mechanism of shutting itself while in exhale, activating itself when you are inhaling. Imagine this. Imagine this brilliant strategy built into our system. We didn't discover it. We were used to pranayama or yogic exercises, but nobody shared this wisdom with us. So we didn't know we have a built-in system.
Right. Right. And you know what I love about the world we live in? I know you're going to talk about this as we go today. And we're actually, for those of you out there, we're actually going to skip the break because we so much for Ruby to share with us today. But what we're learning is this thing that we call technology that gets such a bad rap, let's call it, is bringing people together with new ideas and new techniques and new ways to calm the mind.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We have to use technology to serve us, to help us. Our growth comes from it. We can't stop technology. Technology evolution is a sign that the times have changed and we can do things a lot faster. And with this technology behind us, with us, it's amazing what we can accomplish, right? So, but yet we have to also be aware that we don't get so addicted just to our instruments. So they rule us rather than we rule them. So I think that addiction also is happening where people can't get off their phones. They can't get off their social media. There's nothing to watch. They're still watching for something. They're waiting for the next like, for the next
right.
Just an addiction. As a matter of fact, in China, there's detox centers now just for these phone addictions.
Yes.
So it is numbing us. It is dumbing our brain. It is absolutely interfering with the coherence of the body signals. So having the phone at night by your side, leaving it on, messes up your brain signals right away and compromises your nervous system.
Yeah. Right? And I'm telling you, Ruby, listen, there's a study that was just done. I don't have it in front of me, but there was a study done with how many people sleep with their phone under their pillow. What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that really leads to really talking about also, as we look at this declaration, talking about relationships, because, we have this idea of health, right? And then I mentioned the word relationship, and Ruby, her phone jumped off the hook right there. I love that.
I love that.
Talking about relationships. You and I are breaking out in a hot flash, right? But this is what I love, health, relationship, they are cousins. They come together. Loneliness right now, even with all of the connections, Ruby, even with online dating, even with all of the mechanics of connecting, loneliness and depression are at the top of health risk. So let's take a moment to talk about relationships and the speed of.
Yes, we've run into a lot of problems with relationship because our relationship to the self, it's really disturbed. Like I mentioned, the coherent signals are not there. We can access sometimes a little bit of our intuition, intellect, but that deep wisdom somehow has gone missing because we are not able to tap into the depth. Now, you and I both know that we are on this planet to create experiences, and that's what we learn from, and that's how we create a legacy. It's creating experiences, right? And leaving behind a legacy that somebody adds to it. Now, how do experiences happen, Pat, when you don't have a good relationship with your neighbors, with your spouses, with your friends, with your children, with your parents, with whatever? How does that happen, right? It's not going to happen. So we are actually seeing a gap, a breakdown of relationship. This also means that we have to relate differently. We can no longer have those expectations that were from the marriage, from the parents, from the children, from friends. We're going to have to dump expectations. And there's a self-governance, there's a self-sufficiency that we need to come into. So we may enjoy each other and then support each other. One more thing I'm going to mention. We never dream alone, even we do. Your dream is never going to come true. It takes sometimes hundreds and thousands of people, right? Yes. You and I, to actually be on this today, has all this technology had to happen, all the people had to support, and then we are able to deliver this together. So my dream, your dream would not be possible if we did not have these relationships working, personal, whatever, in place, right? So relationships are bridges. They are bridges that, now what happens is we've become really short-sighted and short-fused. Like very quickly we go into reaction mode. One wrong thing happens and you burn the entire bridge, Pat, that you took 20 years to build sometimes. So there's something to be said, right?
Yeah. One of the things that I know you have and are looking at now, and this is so important for us to talk about, the things that used to work, not working anymore. See, that's the first light bulb that's got to go on, right? All of that mentoring from our parents on how to be in relationships, you know what I mean? You know, all great for where our parents were, where we were when we were 5 years old. I think there are some things that are timeless wisdom. I will say that. Love, unconditional love, a timeless wisdom. But outside of that, all of the tricks of the trade of relationship are all under question now, aren't they? Thanks to the speed of time.
Yes, the systems have changed. And with that are the entire paradigm, how we relate. One of the very effective ways to relate is through friendliness. If relationships are based, and we know that when we have friends, they can do no wrong. Our friends can do no wrong. Yet we don't like someone, whatever they do is wrong, right? So it's not about our right and wrong. It really depends on how closely we're associated to the person. So in this day, we actually, some kind of order of friendliness and mutual respect based on knowledge that you are not going anywhere alone, ever.
Oh, I know.
Like it or not, you better accept, you better be friends. So there's ways to do it because the old conditioning has to die. It has died. It's not working.
I love this.
Even our value system of right and wrong.
Change.
You know, divorce is no longer wrong. Adultery is so common. We can call it wrong. We can call it criminal. But really, you know, like we are going to have to face reality right now and see what's happening and maneuver ourselves. We also have to be speedy enough to change something when it's really not going to work at all. So rather than getting into animosity and creating more havoc, long drawn cases and everything else, we need to just become more compatible. So we can actually access support from each other too, very quickly, right?
I want to ask you this, Ruby. Let me ask you this question because this really talks to what you're saying. One of the things that people that really are listening to us may step into this world and misunderstand what we're saying a bit. So, specific example right out of the headlines. Sexual harassment used to be okay. Not too long ago. I'm not talking 100 years ago. I'm talking like 5 years ago. Sexual harassment of any kind used to be the norm. It's okay. Just suck it up, move on. Fast forward to today, and people are saying, oh, all of a sudden it's not okay. Well, yeah, all of a sudden it's not okay. Why? The speed of time.
Yes, it is the speed of time. We also, now, how do we define sexual harassment? There may be a definition in law, but do the common people even know what that means?
Right.
Touching someone and saying to a guy that you're handsome or whatever, is that sexual harassment at work? Telling somebody she's beautiful, is that sexual harassment? So I think when these value systems and all the laws come into place, we need more learned people to write books on this. Companies, corporates should set their standard of what is accepted, what is not. But I think that's missing, Pat. We are all of a sudden accusing without a system. So now if we don't like someone, we could fire them very quickly because of sexual harassment, right? But so we don't, they hate seeing people using this as an excuse also. But I'm a firm believer that if you create systems that people know that this is right, this is wrong, this is my parameter, this is my limit, now we can start at some point, the law can punish also.
I think that what we're talking about is the first step of most things in life is awareness, right?
Yes.
It's hard to solve a problem in another country that doesn't have any food if we are not aware that they don't have food.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we're getting new levels of awareness at the beyond the speed of time now. You know, there are new levels of awareness coming in every day, every way. And, you know, you said something really interesting was I was in graduate school. We did a study and we made there's a recipe for 2 exact drinks, exactly the same drink in exactly like a smoothie, exact same drinks, exact same recipe, exact same amount, exactly. Totally 100% exact. The glass was exact. The setting was exact. One drink was made by somebody we liked. One drink was made by somebody we didn't like. What do you think the result was of those 2 drinks, right? And we knew Mary Jo made this. I like Mary Jo.
Yes.
Mary Jane made this. I don't like Mary Jane. What do you think the results of that study said?
Yes.
Exact same drink. Exactly. To the moment, because then we switched them up. 98% of the person that I didn't like, that drink, was deemed awful. That is a study case point to your point, right?
Yes.
You know, but here we are today, and you have looked at this now and are building it into this fabulous declaration. What is it that we can do to build a stronger position on how we feel, how we love, how we care, so that, you know, what did Rumi say? You know, beyond the field of right doing and wrongdoing, I'll meet you there. How do we get there, Ruby?
Yeah, I think self-sufficiency, self-reliance. The faster we actually carry our own weight and without imposing on others our nuisances, our weaknesses, we'll do a lot better. Now, we will not be 100%, but the fact we are trying to get self-reliant frees us. Also, it gives us a sense of responsibility. I have always believed that if you want freedom, then take the most responsibility. Because if you can't take responsibility, don't expect to be free at somebody else's cost, right?
Yeah.
So take responsibility, learn. There's a lot of learning to do right now. Maybe reading new books, maybe listening to videos like that, the declarations. There's new rules that are coming out. There's new codes. There's new ethics. So it's for the new world order, the new mind. We have entered enlightened mind, but we are not able to access that. We already have it. It's downloaded, but we just haven't pushed that update button yet. Right?
I know.
So we need, yeah, exactly. So we need to do that.
I love it. I love the idea of an update button, because when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the hottest topics that we could possibly talk about. You know, people may think, oh, it's relationship. Oh, no, it's health. No, money. When we're going to take a short, I know, Ruby, right? We're going to take a short break. When we come back,
Okay.
Ruby's going to take us on this declaration about the speed of time and how it affects money, finance. But before we go, how can people find out more about you, Ruby? How can they find out more about the declarations? Where can they go? What can they find?
The declarations, the first time we are declaring them with you.
Yes.
So you have access to, you're the first one who's hearing them actually. Yeah. And every month we'll be coming up with a new declaration. But the website is rubybedi.co. So if they go on that and they go on the YouTube channel and they go on Enlighten Global, which they will from rubybedi.co, they will be able to access a lot of I'm doing. Also on my personal Facebook page, Ruby Bedi, they will find a lot of Facebook live videos where I'm actually sharing techniques, sharing the deeper meditations to make the switch. So it's all available, Pat.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, if you're sitting there thinking right now, you're saying, oh my gosh, where am I with my financial situation? I can't believe the situation I got myself in. guess what? The speed of time can help you with that in more ways than you know. When Ruby comes back, we're going to be talking about the cha-ching. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In this world and times today, we are going to access information differently. Our senses are very acute now, very aligned. So we are going to be able to see things that we couldn't have seen before. For instance, we've seen the rainbow in certain colors, but now coming forth, we may be able to see the rainbow in different colors that we've never seen before. The colors of the flower could also change. The colors of the leaves we could have different greens, we could have different vibrations because we have different dimensions and different vibrations on the planet now that we didn't have. Our bodies now, first we could only hear through the ears and look through the eyes, but now the entire body is going to respond. So trillions of your cells are all going to hear differently. So the entire body, imagine your body being this antenna, this huge antenna that is anchored on this planet. You're receiving information. It's not going to be overload unless you don't recognize what is happening. It's going to all set in okay. Information is coming very beautifully, very rhythmically into you right now. If you recognize that the new world has happened, there is something new. So as we go into the world forward, we have more sense power. That means the world has changed. We are going to look at everything in a new way. We won't consider anything odd, anything awkward anymore. So if someone tells you that you saw a cat in green color, probably possible. You're not going to question. People are so open to everything right now, they will not question. They will just accept and live their reality. So in other words, we will have magic. We will have unique phenomena in the world that we will experience, and it's all accepted as reality. It's not alternative reality, it is the reality. So reality has changed with this new dimension.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh my goodness, I'm so thrilled. We are starting off a series, and I've gotten the honor and the pleasure to work with Ruby and GV and the whole team, really, so that we can introduce New Soul Radio with Ruby Bedi to all of you. How to be you in today's world. Today is live for the first time ever. The first declaration, adapt to the new speed of time. And for those of you out there who have missed any part of this, please go back and watch the video or listen to it later on. We took a look at health in segment 1 and the impact of the speed of time on health. Then we looked on the impact of the speed of time on relationships in segment 2. Now we're going to be looking at the impact of the speed of time on finance, and especially looking at the perception of finance. Ruby, to kind of close out the dialogue on relationships, study after study after study after study points to a couple of things when it comes to relationships and some of the stress in relationships. Outside of the cheating thing, right? Outside of that, conflicts, value differences, uses of money/finance float right to the top. And
yes.
And here it is in your dialogue, right? In Declaration 1, the new speed of time. And finance, tell me, out of all the things that could have shown up here, boy, did you get this one right.
Yeah. We have a lot of fear around money, and we've always had that. The rich have it because they don't want to lose it, and the poor have it because they don't have it. So either way, we have a lot of fear around it, a lot of stress around it too. Nice part about these times is that because we are in such a fast speed, also the new mind can create a lot of new ideas because there's new systems in place to make money now. It's not just the old way of making money, right? So you can even be on an island somewhere Now I'm talking to you on iPhone from India and doing this, right?
Right.
So people actually are able to make money internationally, global markets, wherever else, right? Because the world has opened to them. So there's new ideas, there's new systems, and we are going to have more and more way. It's going to be a really rich finance, actually. People will become rich. They will be able to meet their goals. Now, I do want to mention that at some point we have a lot of foofy ideas, a lot of fluff around what I should have, what I deserve. So so when we think of finance and things, we don't really think of money as such. We think of all the things that we need that are
That's
missing
right.
from our life, and
Right.
the stress comes from that. Yeah.
Yep.
And people shut down the system. They can't access the boldness, the energy. So if we looked at money as currency, like current, life current in the body, people who have a strong life current, they can manifest currency outside pretty easily too. But when your system, you have a poor quality life current running through, it's not so coherent. At that time, we have problems manifesting ideas, and we are not able to act boldly on those ideas. So in these days, we really have to act bold. We have to take small steps which can create big impacts right now. It's never been like that. We were always going to take big steps and big impacts. Now, small steps will create big impacts. Now,
Yeah.
to conquer the fear, to get into the right mind space, there's one thing that really works, which is that we should focus on creating experiences rather than just money, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of these experiences lead to money. So if you want to make money, then think of what experiences you want to create that will give you that abundance. And without that greed, because we needn't have 4 villas in different parts of the world. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making money, but we should learn to also live with less. So we should feng shui our minds, our houses, and keep it clean and clear. Why do I need the money? What am I going to do with it? And what do I need for this lifetime? So all of that has to go into space before you start to add numbers. Now, creating experiences. And what happens is, Pat, when you're creating experience, you're so busy just doing that, the creating part itself fulfills you. You're not even dependent on the outcome. Outcomes keep happening, but your focus is only on creating. So if I want to manifest $1 million or $100,000, I will create some rich experiences. I will meet with people. I will study. I will learn. I will do things. Then I'll start to act, create. And maybe 5 out of 10, 4 will hit. It'll be a hit. So maybe a small amount and another amount, but the life current in the body consciousness has to be still and strong. And then we just attract these ideas. Now also trust is needed. We're not always going to make money alone. Now this is where relationships come again. Because you may have an idea, it may be financed by somebody you know. So our relationships are very, very important when it comes to wealth. Money we need is sitting in somebody's pocket right now or in the bank waiting to be given. The giver wants to give it as much as the taker wants to take it. So to have that kind of knowing and wisdom, focusing on creating, whether it be health, and you know, the nice part about especially spirituality, deeper techniques is that you can focus on creating things and it feeds all aspects of your life. If you start to create health, your money situation gets better. If your relationships get better. So it's not like I'll work on this alone and then that will come later. Now, in these times, I'm going to share a goal, intention that works 100%. You have to have one long, strong intention, then goals to fulfill that, to manifest that. So the best intention is not just to make money because we are going to die. We're not going to take it with us, right?
Right.
Now we can have everything. Yeah, we can have skills, we can have money, we could still be really unhappy. So in these times, in the age of enlightenment, where is so awakening is so accessible to you right now, it's in you. our goal, some biggest goal should be to awaken ourselves, to become self-realized to the point that we are living the bright mind, the soul mind, we call it the new soul mind, right? We are living that. Because if you don't have that mind, whatever you create may have a lower quality to it, may go into, it'll recede after a while, or you may not enjoy that. So the big goal is that on this planet, in my lifetime, I'm going to use the richest mind possible, awakened mind possible for every thinking, every thought, every action. That should be the first goal. Second is, yes, I need sustenance. Yes, I need health. Yes, I need money. Now, in order to do that, how am I going to eat? How am I going to work? Who am I going to be seen with? What am I going to do? So when the first goal is in place, all goals should connect with that. They are pillars. So the bigger goal is like the dome, the roof, and these are then the 4 or 5 pillars that will root your consciousness strongly. But if you put finance goal up front, your health will go for sure. Your relationships will go, because everybody wants to be a millionaire by themselves actually right now. The goal is, I can do it, I will do it, I can do it, I will do it. So we've gone into this individual small I consciousness, where we need to actually look at the we, join hands, open our ideas, and it's amazing what happens. There's no way a person who has a strong life current, a rich awakened mind, will lack anything, whether it be deeper health or money. And finance, rightly you said, because the minute finance goes, so does the love with it. So does the tolerance. Now we are again in this speedy time where we are not tolerating anything, right? We are overwhelmed, we are stressed already. So we don't have that patience and peace right now. So how do we then sustain in these times a restfulness, which we've shared through techniques, and we will be sharing more. And then looking at finance as currency aligned with your life current. So if you want more currency, raise your vibrations, raise your consciousness, life current in the body, automatically you start to attract that. It's quite easy. Now, having said that, once you set these intentions, we all know that manifestation starts to occur instantly. It doesn't happen 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later. So healing, if it is not spontaneous, then we have not done it the proper way. So the minute we set the big goal, right away, the mind starts to kick in the ideas, the universe starts to deliver the people. But now we don't have a friendliness attitude, we don't have an open mind, so we don't consider those ideas strong enough. We don't consider advice coming from people we don't like to be of value, so we start to abort. So the universe is giving you, feeding you instantly, spontaneously, all the ideas of how to get there, but we can't act upon it.
I love this. I love this. And I have a real live example of this, Ruby, for you that you're not going to even believe it. You have connected us with the most incredible technical people, the friends that you connected us with at Hidden Brains. Amazing.
Oh,
and yeah. And we have been building a relationship with them and working with, here's what we need, here's the situation we're in, here's where we want to go. And you're so right. The old idea of do this, money, doesn't get a possibility solution. What gets the possibility solution is creating new experiences. So Jessica, in her brilliance, rather than try to solve, quote, one of my least favorite words, a problem, gets an idea. And the idea is to create a whole new platform for the way we are exchanging radio podcasting experiences by setting up a Patreon membership environment and asking people to join our community, not about the money, but about the exchange of what we can do to create a better world. And this is now an idea that creates a self-supporting network, an environment that helps create a better world, so that the conversation about money is at the bottom of the list when we exchange things. And it's interesting because out of that, I shared with our friends at Hidden Brains. I said, listen, if you help us with this, look at the projections that we're seeing for what's possible, and we are willing to share them. So what you're talking about can be applied.
Yes.
And I want to make sure people don't miss that you're sharing a something that is going to provide a remedy for fear.
Yes. There is no fear when we are acting fully. Look at yourself. When you're gardening, you're loving the gardening, you're doing it. When you're cooking, when you're having sex, when you're having a drink, there's no fear. Fear comes when you have nobody around you, you're thinking. Now, when you fill all your senses with creative force and you're creating, there's instant fulfillment. Do you know, Pat, we don't even need to be enlightened the way we thought we would. Because you will be living enlightened life. Yeah.
Is this the new soul mind, Ruby? Is this what we're talking about now as the new soul mind? Because I think now this is important to really bring this to this idea of the new soul mind and the speed of time. Oh, that's a little rhyme.
It's crazy because, your mind, it doesn't matter how much you go into it. Your systems are old, they're outdated. Your beliefs are outdated, it's not going to work. So you're going to have to update those systems and then apply that application to your life. So creating fully you could just have a full day of you created this, then you created that, then you cleaned the house. That's another activity of creation. Just small. In the day end, so much gets done. All of a sudden, there's health. There's money, you had more energy. Now, another thing that we also know and we share with our listeners is that if you don't have the bigger goal in place, you cannot access the energy and intelligence and intuition. The universe does not deliver to people who will not do a thing with it. They will sleep on it or worry about it. It will not waste its time for us. So it's very simple, big goals, the big intention, awakened life, enlightened living. We can bypass the act of getting enlightened by techniques and come into enlightened living in simple workshops. It's so crazy and it's so radical.
And how can people find out about this? Because this is the body of work that you're doing to help people end their struggle. Right.
Yes.
I've heard more people say how they're struggling towards enlightenment. Seriously.
Yes.
And, so how can people participate in this event? How can they find out more? Because you're sharing this message all over the world.
Okay. So we are the platform that we have, New Soul Science. It's on our websites. It's different, beautiful short courses, really bright courses to access enlightened living. Not just enlightenment. And we have money in there. We've got spirituality, sexuality. The sex is a big thing too. How do people bond in this day and age? What does sex mean? What are the moral codes? All of that. So we've got that. And first time ever, I'm doing a small workshop, which is this probably coming weekend with few people with actually full access to enlightened living. Just in 3 hours, setting goals with them, facilitating that, creating habits. When we create habits from goals, we create habits. And then when we create habits, which new habits now that will serve the enlightened living, the habits we can apply. And there's 2 habits a day, 3 habits a day, something like that. But that kicks in the system, the new mind system. So we don't even have to understand the philosophy. The battery's low. So we don't even have to understand the philosophy around it. We just basically go into enlightened living and with this itself, with the courses. So it will be offered in the next few months also, Pat, because we'll come out once the declarations are all in, we'll actually come out with very short, very fast, quick techniques for people to learn. Learning is primary. People have to learn now. They have to learn the new system. But the good news is it's not going to take long. What took a year to learn will probably possibly 2 weeks, because we are learning through engagement and entanglement. We are now in this day and age, first time to this magnitude, we're able to mimic patterns of enlightened living from each other. So learning is very fascinating. And we can even learn science through this entanglement, quantum entanglement, and of course, all the work we're doing. Yeah.
And I love what we're talking about, because if you're listening to this right now, or you're watching on Facebook Live, or you're listening to this later, or you're watching later on Facebook Live, one of the things that, Ruby, that people heard are real life things that we can do right now. Things we can do now, and the beautiful connection that you've made between health, relationships, finance, and now looking, for many people, are the new soul mind and the speed of time, is that the comment that I made to you, that I said to someone the other day, that there are 5,427 promises. And they said, oh, I'll never be able to achieve that. And my answer was, you can achieve it in a nanosecond. That is within the realm. Promises are not there in the universe for us not to have. Right?
Yes.
There's not, we don't have this universe, or whatever it is you believe in, of this malevolent, life force. It's a benevolent thing. Yes, and you're helping us understand how to create this instantaneous energy and the shift to the new soul mind.
Yes. And the universe is benevolent, so are we.
Yeah.
We are the benevolent one. So we are facilitating this right now. And the new mind, the new soul, and the new times are open to that. We have not had these frequencies, these dimensions on our planet before. Ever before. And that's why our outcomes with small goals will be very different, right? We've never had. So we have access to intelligence right now. We can see it in the field of medicine, Pat. We can see it in the field of technology. And how fast it's just moving so fast, beyond us, absolutely. Now, when it comes to self-growth, personal growth, the same should apply. We can't take ages to evolve, yet we can create technology that's so fast evolving. Now it has come to our mind, actually, our living. So our inner mind. So I think this is the age where we can access all that intelligence. This is the first time. Yeah, because we've had hardcore rules, long meditations, blessings from sages, and blah, 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 all of that, right? And you're going out in a cave meditating, and then money is no good. Then you give up sexuality, then you give up food and all of that. But you have to give up nothing.
Right.
Nothing. We are not, there's no code of conduct for even that harmonizing. You need a balance. Even the word balance, you will not use. Another fun part, you will not look for happiness as a goal. You will not look for joy or peace as a goal, because the body is your stillest point, stillest consciousness. If you can't access the body wisdom or the body consciousness, then you will never be at peace, because the nature of the mind is always, do I do it, do I not, what if? That is the nature of the mind. There's no peace there. There's thinking there, right?
That's right.
But imagining there. The mind, the whole instrument is designed not for peace, it is designed for action, to take action. That is the role of the mind. But the body is the instrument for peace, to ground. So you feel grounded, wired down at all times, rooted. So our goal of peace will not be there if people entered the body space, right? Which we again have fast techniques for. Another thing, our happiness no longer will depend on outcomes of what we create. It will come from acting in the moment consciously creating. That is our source of joy.
Yes.
So on the spot joy 24/7. Can you imagine that life, Pat?
I can imagine that life. And this is the first, Ruby, of many shows we're going to be doing together. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for, really creating a call to action for us, because we have spent decades, centuries on a pathway to enlightenment, which has been so elusive. Thank you for bringing this to us to activate today. Thank you so much. Ruby, website one more time, and thank you for all that you're doing.
rubybedi.co. I'm going to leave you and others with a strong message and action, actually. Make your enemy the best friend. Use whatever it takes, make enemies your friends, and you'll see what happens. Brilliant strategy.
I love it. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a short break. Ruby, amazing, amazing. When we come back, more with the Dr. Pat Show, Transformation Talk Radio, and many blessings to you, Ruby, for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back.